allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'll have the clerk call the roll.
Dan Patterson,
Here.
Michael Zayas,
Here.
Diane Allen. Here. Olivia De Francisco. Here. Calvin Ellis.
Here.
Okay, next up is acknowledgements and announcements. Council in the Exeter Animal Shelter Bank and wish to show its appreciation to Exeter Fuel for its generous donation of an oil fill-up in December at no charge to the town. B, Council in the Exeter Animal Shelter Bank and wish to show its appreciation to URI Greek Life Philanthropy and Programming Teams for their generous donation of $10,000 on December 12, 2003.
Can I interrupt just for
Yeah.
1 second? Did we send them, do you know, thank you letters, both of those? I don't know if Lynn may have done it or not.
I think both of them have been sent letters. I know the Greek one was from the animal shelter themselves.
It's,
Okay, thank you.
I'll make a note of it though to check on it.
Thank you.
Item C, Town of Exeter offices and departments will be closed President's Day, Monday, February 19th, 2024. Let's see, number 5, approval of the consent agenda. Does anybody need to remove anything?
I need to remove the bill sheet.
Okay.
if this is an approval of the agenda order, if we're
Oh,
on
I'm sorry,
number,
yep.
well, that's right, you skipped that, one
Yeah.
to 5.
Sorry, Cal.
No, it's not a problem, but I will move to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now approval of the consent agenda. We're gonna remove the bill sheet. Communications, I've got number 25. Cal, you had some?
Yes, I do, but before I tell you what they are, I just want to go back to your public announcement here, and I think the public should know that that fuel delivery, I saw the bill, was $500 donation. They didn't, so very generous of them to show support for our animal shelter. Yes, 14 and 16, those resolutions regarding the busing reimbursement.
We all have those.
Yeah, well, then we all want those. At
Okay,
20,
Olivia?
22,
I'm sorry.
22, 23, and 24.
Say that again?
22, 23, and 24.
Okay. Olivia?
I'm all covered, but we need to pull out the January 2nd
Because you weren't here.
minutes, because I wasn't here.
January 2nd minutes. Diane, you have any?
Calvin got mine.
Mike?
Negative.
Let me just make sure. Okay, got 22 counts, right?
Yeah.
Okay, you covered everything. Okay, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda. I guess we gotta do this twice, once with the bill sheet? Well, because you're gonna
Yeah.
accuse yourself, okay. Then we need to do, can we do it all at once?
Well,
Removing up.
because they're two different items, you
Yeah,
probably
two
should
different
have
items,
two
okay.
different.
All in
But
favor of approval?
approving it as amended.
As amended, removing the bill sheet, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
One absent, one recused.
Move we approve the bill sheet dated January 1st to the 31st.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now we need to approve the consent agenda.
Well, I move that we approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of January 2nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I think we got it all, right? Okay. Let's see, number 6, vacancies and appointments, personnel board. Conservation Commission, resignations,
None.
appointments. Exeter Rural Land Preservation Trust Committee member to serve 4-year term beginning date of appointment.
Nothing, right?
Continue to post. Exeter Rural Land Preservation Trust Committee member to serve unexpired term ending April 6, 2024.
Right. I'm just, go ahead.
Number 3, Board of Canvassers alternate member to serve unexpired term ending May 3rd, 2027.
Continue to post. I almost had some.
There you go. Number 4, Juvenile Hearing Board full member to serve unexpired term ending April 11th, 2025.
Yeah.
Dan, wait a minute now, isn't this an item that's gonna come up under new business, and will we make some progress in that direction because of
They
the
want to
juvenile?
flip.
That's
Yeah,
correct.
they want
So I'm not
They
sure,
wanna switch, yeah.
So
so
an
will we,
alternate's becoming, yeah, but that's a full member that's gonna become an alternate.
And then an alternate,
It's gonna become a
Right.
full member.
Yeah.
Full amount, yeah.
So we still have a vacancy, right?
what
Yeah,
does that
because they wanna
cover?
She wants to switch with the alternate. So they're gonna switch.
Right, but the
member's gonna
question,
become
I
alternate.
think Dan's question is,
Yeah.
are we still lacking one? Or
Yes.
this is,
Yes.
so in addition to that
Yes.
switching, we
Yes.
still have a vacancy
Yeah, so we need to
for the
continue.
juvenile hearing board.
Yeah.
Okay, I like to speak loudly about vacancies, it's a good way
Well,
for
before we
people
go any
to be
further,
involved.
I'll ask Ken this question, is can we put like one page on the website showing these
On our website, or that's,
on the town
The town's
website?
website.
yeah,
Like
it should be
when they
one up
go
there.
on there, like, look at a headline, hey, this is what's going on, you know? Just
Please volunteer.
like James, I think, because I've had discussions with him about this type of thing on our website, and because our website has so many,
Unless you were actually
limitations
looking
to it.
for it, when you go to the main page, it'll sit there and stare
yeah,
at
but
you.
I think he can put a couple of things in the little
Okay,
thing that switches, but again, it's, you know, unless you're sitting there, it's not gonna turn,
okay.
They are on the website, the vacancies, and
yeah.
they're,
But are they there?
But when
Well,
budget
they-
time is coming around and when we want a little bit more money to go towards our website so we can do things like that and so information can hit people right in the face.
Okay, next, number 5, public works worker, Rob.
Yeah, we'll probably get to do some interviews this coming month.
And, okay, well, I got you, number 6, transfer station attendant, you did have one. Somewhere in my stack.
Yeah.
Casey McCarthy.
Yes.
Well, I, based on a recommendation we received, I move that we hire Casey McCarthy to fill that vacancy at the transfer station.
Second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
He,
Aye.
he,
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, he seems like a very interested and interesting young
You
man.
wanna add
I
something,
spoke-
Rob? He's been
I've spoken
working
to
with
Rob
him for
about
a
it.
while.
I met him,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you meet him?
He seems like a nice kid. Yeah, nice young man, willing to work. He's been coming in on snowstorms and stuff with us too, shoveling them. He's willing to work.
Oh, that's good. That's some young person really willing,
Yep.
that's a good thing.
All right, next up, item B, expiring terms, William Monroe, Board of Canvassers member, term expiring March 5th, 2024. And next is Barbara Ward, Library Board of Trustees, term expired February 3rd, 2024.
Yeah, I called her, remind her, and she sent an email, but I didn't
She
see
sent
it.
an email to Lynn requesting to get reappointed.
Did you, yeah, she did. I didn't-
I didn't see it.
I'll call her too.
Well, it's Lynn, I saw the email,
You did have
Oh,
the
you
email?
did?
I have the email.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think these kinds of vacancies, if, well, not, they're not vacancies, they will be if she's not reappointed. But I think if the council has no issue with someone sitting on the board, as in Barbara's case, I really think we should reappoint her.
That one.
Well, I just saying that, I think
Yeah.
that that's appropriate.
Yeah, go right ahead, Cal, make a motion.
Well,
But can we make a motion to appoint her
Without it.
without it being under,
Correspondence.
No, but it'll be an under appointments.
yeah.
Well, so then we'll move that to
Next
the
month.
March
Because
agenda.
we could ask Patty/Lynn if they will email these people and ask them if they're interested in being, even though Barbara said she was, but the others, to see if they would like to be reappointed.
Right.
Okay, we'll hold that one for next month. Number 3 is Brian Lozinski, Exeter Rural Land Preservation Trust, term expiring March 2nd, 2024. We need to reach out to him. All of them.
I would say to do the same thing. Brian was a, if you will, charter, I don't really know him if he walked in the door. I've spoken to him.
One of the original members.
He is, he's
Yeah.
one of the charter members, if you will, of the land trust, and I just hope that he can be persuaded to continue. I'm just trying to be a current member.
Number 7, public hearings was done this month. Number 8, public comment. First is Asa Davis.
Last month, 9B, the only thing I said November 6th related to litigation was thanks for taking the inaccurate 9 cases reference off your agenda. That's it, read your minutes. I raised my hand because Seipel didn't make his dozen cases statement until the November 15th court hearing 9 days later. You're referring to my December comments. Now, Mike, Marusak, Patterson, and Ellis are all on record talking at length about an improperly noticed topic. Oops. Regarding December, Mike said, Asa Davis stated, I had referenced controlling legal expenses with our town solicitor. I never said that, never even thought it, unquote, verbatim from the video. What I really said, you ran on a platform that included reducing the town's legal expenses, period, verbatim. I didn't say our solicitor. You added that twice. Why? It's on the video.
Jody.
You said, he referenced, I didn't know how many open litigations, but I did speak with the solicitor, and the overwhelming majority of those cases have been closed, quote unquote, verbatim. I didn't reference open or closed cases. Did Seipel? Also no. We have agreement on 167 town cases. We don't have agreement on a dozen cases on my part. That's the issue. If I said the town had 300 or 500, that would be a lie. You'd be right to call me out on it. That's the lie I'm calling Seipel out on. You can't say I said something I didn't. There was a recorded public meeting. Distract from the main points by making up fake small ones. We've seen that before. Like Cal saying, I said he lived with Jeff Broadhead at 25 Barnacle when I didn't. Or when he said he gave a check to the Ethics Commission and the next day they said, no, he didn't. Or when he said he wasn't treasurer of WCRPC, then changed his ethics form to say, yeah, he was. Learning from him, sleep with dogs, wake up with fleas maybe. Quote, majority of litigation in the town has been created or brought forth by you. That's a lie. From the portal, 9 unassigned town cases, 3 are mine, not a majority. 3 open cases, none are mine, not a majority. 16 unclosed cases total, 5 are mine, not a majority. These are 3rd grade fractions. So how do you get majority? Because if it can't be supported, like Seipel's dozen cases, it sounds false, malicious, and baseless, i.e. slander. What about the big points? Seipel lying in the first place. Ellis avoiding the town real estate taxes on his trust transfers. The main point of that whole section, which is we had double the number of cases open or closed compared to similar towns. With or without my cases, that's true. Cal said Marusak didn't have to do anything without the council's direction. I should hope not. This means the responsibility for having double cases per capita falls on the council. Time to look in the mirror, check in with the other towns to figure out what they do differently. Marusak's not the guy to ask that, for the same reason asking Matt's check to sort DEM violations didn't work. There's a vested interest in seeing it not happen. And on that subject, it's time to go out to bid again on all those plants we need to get in. Otherwise, we miss another year. Thank you.
Next is it Candace
Candice and James.
and James? You're next.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We're actually here for number 22 on the appendix.
We're gonna we've pulled that correspondence, but we'll be talking about that at the end.
Today.
Yeah, it's on the
Okay.
agenda towards the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Okay,
I
thank you.
have nothing further to say at this time.
Okay, number 9, new business, presentation by Secretary of State's Office, mission of RI 250 Commission, and creation of local 250 committees ahead of 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States. Hi there. Who are you?
Good evening. My name is Lauren Fogarty, and I am the program coordinator for the Rhode Island 250th Commission, also known as the Semi-Quincentennial Commission, but RI 250 works the best. I'm also joined this evening by Deputy Secretary of State Rhode on behalf of Secretary Moore. Thank you for having us, and we are very happy to be here in the historic town of Exeter to promote the creation of a local 250th commission, or committee. In 2026, we're set to mark the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. For some, this milestone may elicit memories associated with the excitement of the bicentennial period in our nation. I'm here today to bring attention to this tremendous opportunity for each community across the state and nation alike. RI 250 has been charged with developing ways to recognize and honor this anniversary in our state, and the mission of the commission is to commemorate the 250th anniversary of our nation, the events throughout history in which our beautiful state has had a massive influence, and our largely forgotten role in the formulation of our nation. Most notably, our contributions to the ideals of freedom, equality, and independence. We at the Commission are most excited to help facilitate this milestone statewide and years-long multifaceted commemoration, and we intend to engage as many Rhode Islanders as possible. And we believe that the natural next step is to organize at the municipal level. One of the duties of the Commission is to collaborate with local organizations to promote the pivotal role that Rhode Island played in the founding of our country. And today I'd like to take this time to invite Exeter to organize a local 250th committee to encourage public participation, promote tourism, and strengthen our state pride. I have shared with your clerk a pamphlet provided by the American Association for State and Local Histories, or AASLH, who have taken the reins on this project at the federal level. And although this information is directed towards a larger scale commission like RI 250, we feel that this toolkit that is clearly outlined is helpful for this endeavor. And the example of a working group seems like the best approach, but as I was discussing earlier, Exeter is quite familiar with some serious milestones, so I believe that you guys are well equipped to judge what size committee and what that might look like for your municipality. And over the past year, our neighbors in South Kingstown have been celebrating their 300th anniversary. The programming, academic resources, and public engagement have been significant. The town marked this unique milestone with a lecture series on the town's history, large-scale bonfires, and elevated regular events like their Arts and Culture Festival, and something that they like to call River Fire. The town also installed a 14-foot sculpture designed by the influence of their history and identity as a community in their town green. The opportunities are truly endless. Commemorative events like the Semi-Quincentennial can bring communities together and promote a sense of identity. There is so much progress to celebrate. During my time with RI 250, many people discuss their fond memories of the bicentennial, and I think that we can make this the best commemoration yet. Secretary Moore envisions coordinated projects with each municipality that can include pop-up archives presentations. Today I brought a small collection of the formative documents for the town of Exeter and photographs that were maintained by our state archives. These documents range from the act to incorporate the town circa 1742, the votes of freedmen of Exeter 1788, and other scenic photographs from around the 1920s. This is an example of a type of display that could be curated at an Exeter at America's 250th event, of course coordinated with the Rhode Island Department of State and State Archives. In addition, Secretary Moore hopes to coordinate projects including an evergreen program such as the planting of red maple trees in a town green, park, wherever you guys prefer. And today I'd like to come to you today to urge this council to establish a committee to mark this milestone, especially one as important to our nation's history. So I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have. And yeah.
Do you have like packets of information you can send to us?
Yeah, I have In the back, there's actually another kind of field guide. Thank you for the display, that's very kind of you. We have a field guide from the American Association for State and Local Histories. There's also that commission outline, the kit that I was talking about. That's really helpful to kind of gauge what is available and what is kind of the necessary pathway for something like this.
You heard about all our vacancies, you heard all our vacancies.
Yes. Well, I hear there's some
Alvin,
interested
I'm
people.
thinking of the
Yeah.
Exeter Historical Society.
Well, this is, may I speak
Yes,
to
go
you?
ahead.
Let me share with you a few thoughts that have surfaced
Yeah.
recently. There was a meeting last week of Exeter Historical Association. Some of the participants are here tonight. But this already came up as an agenda item, and there's interest. What there isn't is a large number of people, but if we continue to reach out, we might engage more people. I just want you to know, and this is relevant, that at the bicentennial, when you suggested we look back, well, yes, I was around then, but there was a parade established by an Eagle Scout, and it has continued, except, 1 year or two during the COVID. And it continues, and I know one of the people involved in planning the parade was discussing a piece. I mean, that's not, I know you're looking for much more than that, but there is awareness at an introductory level of that. So parade, which is different from the Historical Association, but some people are connected, so.
Yeah, we're not trying to ask too much of any municipality, we just want to be able to mark this national milestone, and elevating regular events that are happening is definitely a great way. It's an affordable way to market, as well as everyone kind of has that niche thing that goes on in their community that really brings everyone together, so kind of elevating that and is a great way to mark this milestone as well.
And are there going to be any specific, like, events together that our committee is,
So we're
or you would want our committee to be part of?
There's nothing really set right now. Of course, we're gonna wanna do these kind of satellite events as we approach the milestone. But we're really trying to at least let every municipality mark it in their own unique way, celebrate your own unique history, as well as long as every single municipality has something that's going on. I think as a state as a whole, we'll have a pretty comprehensive commemoration for this milestone. So hence why we think reaching out to the municipalities, having them organize if it's not something they're already doing, elevating it to another level, or introducing something new like an Eagle Scout starting a parade and having this lasting legacy is so massive.
When you were speaking, I thought, well, first of all, we don't have a green, but then I thought, well, we have an open space up near our library where something could be organized. So it's the closest thing we have to a village green, but hey, it's better than nothing.
Absolutely.
So maybe putting heads together, there can be something that can happen up there. And the celebration really goes on throughout this entire year. Is that with summertime probably being a target for most events?
Is there something big planned for like 4th of July?
So currently, we are discussing with Tall Ships America to bring the tall ships back to Narragansett Bay, as well as working with other like smaller art groups. I know Waterfire is currently pitching potential Olympic style kind of way to mark all 39 municipalities and have it culminate in a larger event on July 4th. So these are all things that we're working on and trying to get the funding to where it needs to be.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
I find it incumbent to just mention one thing. One of the most memorable pieces of litigation that I was involved in happened about 20 years ago. All about that. That's the Declaration of Independence. The town of Exeter Town Council saved that document and a copy of the Bill of Rights from the auction block. We found it and we negotiated with Brown University, and those two documents are sitting at the John Carter Brown Library now, preserved forever, instead of being in some private collector's possession. And that's a good piece of, maybe we can get that back here for
Well, everybody, make
exhibition.
sure that everybody understands that just the facsimile.
That's a facsimile.
Yes.
Nobody, don't try taking it,
We were
people.
just talking
It's
about
only a
that.
copy.
The real one's probably worth a couple $1 million.
Yes,
It's only a
exactly.
copy.
We had, we actually, at the State Archives, maintain West Greenwich, their original copy, was actually found on.
Where did you say it is?
It was,
No, but your office?
the State Archives maintains it for, they found it on the Sotheby's up for
Oh,
sale.
wow.
So
Did they
it was
buy it?
actually saved, so, we had an
Litigated?
injunction
Oh,
litigated,
okay.
and were able to bring it, back to the state, cause we were able to prove that it was a document that was owned by the state of Rhode Island.
Did you
or
do that after we did?
I
Take a look at our li-
I
our-
believe
our-
it was
our
like
complaint?
5 or, it was in the last decade, so definitely.
Hope you saw our complaint.
I think
It was a
that
work
might
of
have
art.
helped, absolutely.
Well, and now you're looking to build a new
Yes, to
home
house
for
those.
all
Yes.
Rhode Island's archives, right?
So every member of the public can enjoy our own history and our heritage as a state.
Is it a bond
It's
issue yet or no?
I believe.
I forgot.
Yes,
Rob
it's-
can speak.
the governor did request that it be put on the ballot as a bond, and so hopefully the General Assembly will agree.
Oh, so it hasn't gone that, it's.
Not yet. Our hearing is gonna be next Tuesday, so anyone who is interested, we'd love to have your support.
Do you have some cards you can leave with us?
Yeah, absolutely, I have some in the back, but I'm happy to, and I'll also reach out to Lynn and provide any other, some resolutions passed by other towns, as well as how they formulated their committees and,
That'd be good.
yeah.
Then we can continue to work on that and keep it on subsequent agendas. See if we can do something.
I think you guys are more than equipped.
I'm not that old, just because you pointed to me.
I never said that.
No, you did, but this,
I didn't
this
say a
one.
word.
No, I know, he just looked at the oldest person.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Thanks for
coming.
coming.
Very important anyway.
And this is, and I don't know, did we introduce Rob? I guess we did at the beginning.
We did, yes, thank you.
Rob.
And if I may, just 1 minute, I've worked in state government for quite a bit of time, and we've always had a great relationship with the town, especially on election matters. We worked with Lynn and Cheryl Fernstrom and Janet Cragen and Mary B. for years, and you've got a great team here at Exeter. I know oftentimes local government employees go unacknowledged and unnoticed, but I want to let you know you've got a great team here in Exeter.
Very thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, thanks for coming. Thanks for coming by.
Thank you. Okay.
You won't be rude if you leave whenever you feel you, but you can stay.
Weirdly enough, we enjoy this.
Okay, next up, item B, request of juvenile hearing board, full member Lori Hauser to switch positions with alternate member Jason Clark.
Well, for discussion, I will move that we make that transition.
I'll second.
It's very nice that they,
They're not
well,
leaving.
Jason, remember, is the one we just appointed him, remember, a couple of months ago.
Do we have it? That was a
Give a
motion, got a second?
Yeah.
Second.
And-
Well, second,
All in favor?
Aye.
See, I should, good, aye.
C, review and update Town of Exeter non-union employee benefit policy number 3.02-1. Okay.
All right, we had our meeting, we went through the policy, no change to the policy, and then we went through the attachment, and I made changes according to what reflected in the meeting. So, I know there's more work that needs to be done, in light of some email and such. That we could address, I recommend that policy budget time, because there's budget implications, but we have no budget implications at this point.
Do We never approved this at that work session, the special
Well-
meeting, no.
No, you
No.
approved the other,
We approved the
some
other
of
one.
that management, I sent you a summary memo on that.
I was thinking about, I know Lynn had sent us a message that we need to consider the town sergeant's position because it's elected, remember, as is the clerk and the treasurer, but, then I realized, or actually I couldn't remember by looking at it now, I don't know if it belongs here, but then I'm thinking of zoning inspector, which is a position and elected and hired. So I didn't know if maybe that,
Well,
I don't
after-
remember discussing that.
Well, after the draft came out, there was discussion, more about the elected officials and if we're
Right.
going to, have one or two or three elected officials, maybe we should just list all elected officials. It doesn't have to be for any other purpose and just say no or yes, that's it. So like a Hal. look
Right,
out,
well,
so-
I think that's the only one I can think of that's missing.
And it's not about giving people, money, we have our friends here from the state, and they just heard how we cannot get people to volunteer. So people that are elected positions, and it's not because we've tried not to get them not elected positions, but people serve quite a long time. Which, an example.
Some do longer than
Cal.
others.
But, take Cal for an example.
But you don't have to take it
You know,
easy.
we had Paul Pacern,
Yeah.
then was.
A zoning inspector.
And he
Yeah.
left, and then Paul Ward did it for 1 year, and he didn't want it, one cycle, and he didn't want to do it again.
Anything else to do
You
with
know?
it ever again.
And now we're fortunate to have Hal. People not lining up to, especially to run for election. So, and it's not unheard of. There's other cities and towns in Rhode Island and across the country that provide benefits, reasonable benefits to elected officials. So, we could talk about that at budget time. It would have to be budgeted and put the rules together and have more discussion on it, but, to hold this policy up now, I don't believe.
So
Yeah,
no
until
action.
after the budget.
Right, so this is fine the way it is. This is just a guideline anyways, as you read the policy, you can change it anytime you want. That's policy, and, I would just recommend approving as is, and then we have the discussion about the, elected officials and maybe others that aren't included on here. So everyone not included in the collective bargaining agreement will be covered in this policy.
Yeah, I think, and Maria needs to know too, so she knows where we're standing. So this works now for you, doesn't it, Maria?
Yeah,
As
the main idea behind that was to keep up with the collective bargaining that had changed basically in '22, that we never really updated the non-union.
Well, I move, again, I move for discussion that we've already had, approval of the non-union employee benefits policy.
Second.
Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item D, request of Exeter West Regional School District, 2 interested citizens to serve on School District Charter Review Committee. So we need to post that.
Yeah, I would say post it.
And that one young individual that I've been hammering, who is also a school teacher. Yeah, trying to get young people. Yeah.
They're looking for that for February 8th.
They were looking for that on February 8th?
Yeah, they're looking for that for February 8th.
Wow.
It's posted by the school district for community involvement, and they're looking for it by February 8th. This is the second notice that we had gotten for the conference, so. that's what we
Okay.
choose to do.
Probably should talk to them on Thursday about that.
Well, and also, Dan, it's probably good to indicate here that the submission that we got suggests that people apply or inform superintendent directly if
Apply
they're
out there.
interested, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we shouldn't be encouraging people to inform them of their interest, which is why it's on here. I had asked if I could put it here, just so there's a record that we
did it.
reached out, that we're asking. And this is with regard to the charter change, which basically has to do with funding issues, which are what happens when the budget isn't approved. Anyway,
So do we want
so we did.
to advertise or reach out to somebody?
No, well, it's, as Pat said, they're looking for something quickly, so.
February 8th.
I'd say we kind of have right now. But what I mean is when you say advertise, we're discussing, it's here on the agenda. There's no problem with posting this someplace, which
It's posted up front.
I was gonna say, it probably already is.
It is.
Yeah.
So, again, when I ask for something like this, there's a record of the fact that we reached out. you know.
Yep.
And good, if you know some, get them.
I bumped into him about a month ago when I first heard about this, and asked him, he said, yeah, it's time for me to get involved.
Oh, there you go.
Yes, no, I better call up and
That's what we need.
hammer him again, so.
Good.
So we wanna leave this on
What's
there
your
just in
farm?
case.
No.
I don't think it's,
Don't think now?
I don't think it's
Still don't have to
necessary.
apply to the school
but
district.
if anyone knows someone that they think they should, because Diane, we appointed you last month
Yes,
to
I'm
represent
there.
us.
Okay, item E, tentative joint meeting, March 11th, 2024. Town council and planning board.
Thank you.
Possible adoption of comprehensive plan, review of planning board solicitor's opinion regarding planning board memo to council date December 19th, 2023, comprehensive plan. What this is we vote in the affirmative, this is to schedule a public hearing to adopt the new comprehensive plan.
Did we have another day that we scheduled?
They were gonna try to do it in
See,
February
They
sometime, but
they were
then it's
thinking we
too.
would be out of compliance if we didn't do it by
Right.
March 1st. It wasn't ready. Steve Seifel wrote an opinion that we're pretty
We
much
could
safe.
wait,
Yeah,
and
because-
Bill wanted to wait.
Yeah.
And Bill wanted to wait too on it, so.
Yeah.
Even then, they're still pushing it, so.
Okay.
But this is, the agenda doesn't indicate here a hearing, but I think that's what is intended, that there's a public
That way
hearing.
we have enough weeks to advertise for a public hearing.
Right, but we should, and it will come up on the March agenda as well, but this is an important date for people to make a note of. It's like Exeter's future, yeah, so.
Lynn has already reserved wall room for that.
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
So
Not-
should
We
we
just
make
need
a
a
meeting,
motion.
a motion
Yeah.
for, to meet on March 11th and make it a public hearing?
Yeah, that's what we need.
Public,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
right.
Do you wanna make the motion?
Yeah. I'll make a motion that we meet on March 11th for a public hearing on a comprehensive plan.
Second,
All in favor?
all right,
Okay, item F is Rhode Island League of Cities and Towns resolution in support of the league's 2024 legislative priorities. Everybody got all the emails from them?
Yeah, that much.
did, but is that one of the?
That, and there's also the packet, they sent you like.
We got a
There was
packet,
a
but,
packet, and then there was the resolution.
didn't they present one?
Yeah, there is.
Isn't that,
There's a sample resolution, and then there's one resolution there from the town. And you guys, the next page, I think, Diane.
Oh, okay.
it's number 23, which is the reason I
Yeah.
removed it, I believe. But I didn't,
You have a copy of the
that, I
resolution.
do, but that's where it came from, right? It's
Right.
item
Right,
23.
right,
Yeah.
correct.
And then there's one that
Right,
says,
put it on as new business so you can adopt it.
Right,
Yeah.
which we should.
That was dated January 29th, correct?
Is that?
That's the one from Rhode Island League.
I've got it over here.
Yeah,
It's
I
this
can-
one
January
that says
29th.
stated.
Yeah, all right, it's all right. Did you get that one?
I
Mike?
did, yes. I got a hard copy if you want.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's,
taking copies everywhere.
it's,
Easier to put in the phone.
you know, I move that we adopt the resolution recommended and requested actually by the league.
Second.
And basically, they're just asking us to, as members of the league, to support what they're proposing and not objecting to what they're asking, so.
No, motion, second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, G, Emergency Management Director, Dory Boardman. He's not here tonight.
Well, let me speak to a couple of these quickly.
Okay,
She and I have spoken, and she and Lynn have spoken, and so forth, but you've got paperwork in front of you, and to me, go too quickly. The item, first item is, I don't wanna lose my, the first item you have is a review, and basically, she kind of highlighted most everything else that's in front of you later on the agenda. There's really nothing new there. When she spoke to me, she said, I can't be there. I said, well, I know you've been active and you've been busy, so if you want to just provide us with a sort of overview of what you've been doing, and that's what this is. So you have that. Second item is, there's a what they call an incident command system overview, a week from Wednesday, Valentine's Day, the 14th, in Narragansett. Well, the paperwork says it's designed for executives and everyone from town, but in many of the communities, the town, the fire company, reports to the council, a separate district like we do, but she asked if I would attend. I said, okay, I can, and I don't know that you can, the rest of you. It's in the morning, it's 8:30 to noon, I believe, at Narragansett at the North Pavilion or whatever that's called, at Comanche Beach. So it's apparently people coming from the hierarchy of the state response people, and I'm not, well, I'll attend. But it's basically Dory getting information that she can assimilate, and that's what that's about. So if anyone wishes to come, that's great, but, all right, that's enough.
It's a good course.
no, number
It's a good
three.
course.
I've been to it.
I
Been
had
to it?
some questions on that,
Come.
or I've had some comments on
Come if
it.
you're not busy.
Number three, that's, well, actually, the trailer's been there for what, about a month and a half now?
Is it already in place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
That was about
okay.
1.5, 2 months ago. The American Red Cross was looking
Oh, that's,
to park a trailer somewhere in town.
Well-
They could immediately get to it in emergency. And it's been sitting at the animal shelter, but I guess now we need the technicality.
Well, it is, and there's there's a multi-page document here that they're asking that we approve. Just basically, it indicates that we're in a cooperative mode and that we welcome the Red Cross if we need them. And that's what this memorandum of understanding is really about. So I would recommend, I'll make a motion, in fact, that we approve this memorandum of understanding with the Red Cross.
Second. All in favor? Aye.
we should also make a motion, to let Dory, number 2, to let Dory attend the Narragansett meeting.
She kind of helped to organize it. I mean, that would be, well, you can, but she's doing it, to kind of pull people together.
Was this a request for us to attend?
No, as she said, the wording of the agenda is a little bit, it's more a notification that it's there.
Okay.
I know it doesn't ring that way, Diane, you're right, but that was not really the intent of putting it on. It was more to include it so that you would know that that was happening. The next item 4 is basically, it's just between us and West Greenwich, indicating that they're gonna work with us. And as it indicates, it's a non-binding memorandum. It's sort of, it's like we hope everybody will come to the table collectively. Gloria again has taken the lead on this, and that gets to the MOU, not MOU, the RFP that we approved for posting, if there was an approval from West Greenwich. You remember that from last month? Well, there has been an approval. I spoke to Kevin Green, Dory hadn't received anything, so I spoke to Kevin, and Kevin got back to me right away, and said, yes, he had contacted Brooke Lawrence, and they were okay, and they were good with it. I think they're good that Exeter's taking the lead if you read through it. So it's nice to have Exeter take, which means Drury is really the one that's been pushing it. But out of it comes the potential, according to Drury, and again, you have to plan ahead, you have to hope for the best. But if there are future issues like the flooding and others, and we have a hazard mitigation plan in place, it's more an automatic pass-through of funds, at least that's what she hopes, and we hope it is too. So that hazard mitigation plan is the one there that they're gonna hire someone to create, and it's $150,000, but each town will be putting up half to be reimbursed 90%. And 10% non-reimbursement is through in-kind, which she says is gonna be basically her work. It sounds okay, it sounds like something we need to do. So I believe it's already been posted, do you know, Pat, if the RFP?
I just wanted to change a couple of things on
No, it
this.
hasn't been posted yet.
Oh, cause
Wait for tonight.
Lynn told me the other day that we had voted to post as
You
long as
voted
we got.
for the MOU and then, yeah.
Well, she said as long as there was West Greenwich approval, but I have to go back
But
and
it
read the
hasn't been
minutes.
posted yet.
But it hasn't been.
No.
All right, we'll
Yeah.
so,
Diane had some.
Yeah, on page 4 of the latest one we got, the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan, in 4th paragraph, 3rd line, such as the has thus and risk map, so shouldn't it be hazard?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be hazardous. That's weird.
oh, there's an editing issue?
Yeah.
It's an editing, I had a few
Oh.
editing issues. That I think needs to be changed.
Once like I'm looking at firm max, is that actually, should that be FEMA? I'm not sure.
Oh. Just as we had. There was not sufficient
then-
proofreading done.
Then on page 5, I really think in the last paragraph, the hazard identification and risk assessment, severe weather events, fine hurricanes, floods, severe storms, but I think we should put forest fires specifically in here, and earthquakes and landslides, maybe not in B, but maybe in C, because thunderstorms can create a forest fire, but I think in the human-made hazards, I think we should put forest fires there, because that's really what we've been faced with, both communities.
Or just make it an item D.
Or maybe, or we
Yeah.
could just make another item, forest fire.
He,
I think it should be there.
Yeah.
I really think it should be in there.
I think we should, I think, well, because this is sort of already, it's already reached, been approved, but when the work is done, we need to make a note that this needs to be included in the plan, and the plan should include that.
Right, because I didn't think we approved this yet, we just got there. We have
We,
this other
we,
thing.
I thought we did last month.
No,
and
it was the request for proposals in it. This one, which is different, but, no, I guess it's.
And I thought we approved subject to West Greenwich approval.
And then,
I remember that too, like I
Page-
Yeah, I
said.
did, we remember
Yeah.
that now.
Okay, I'm
and
just
then
trying to
page
find it.
7, the second paragraph from the top, I think this is confusing to anyone who's bidding this. It goes A, B, C, C. Bidders are required to submit. 3 is written out, and then 4 is in a circle, so does that mean 3 or 4?
What page are you on? Page number
Bottom of
7?
Page
7.
7.
Okay.
See,
Oh, yep.
Anyone bidding that is not gonna, that's gonna confuse them.
so which is it?
I don't know. You know, if it's 3, then
Yeah.
it should be a 3. Usually it's 3, you don't usually have to work out.
So this should be a 3 then. Oh,
So
so
that should be a 3.
who's gonna document these changes so that we change them afterwards? You gonna hand that in afterwards, or how does this work? To make sure it gets
Is
done.
Dory the one that has written this?
I believe
I think
so.
this is kind of a
Can I just refer please to the minutes of last month's meeting?
Yeah.
Because this is what it says. Council has a draft, which is this. West Greenwich Emergency Director Brooke Lawrence has agreed to work with Ms. Boydman on the plan. Bids will be received and opened by Exeter. Council inquired, has West Greenwich approved? Will it be paying at the cost? Boydman will ask Lawrence for confirmation from the council, and they agree that they agree to the plan, and they have. So I made the motion to go out to bid, and when verification that West Greenwich approved is received, and that's what I'm talking about, because I know there's 2 different issues there. One's the
One is
separate,
the plan.
non-binding memorandum of agreement. Dory kind of pushed for that because she wanted to make sure, or try to make sure, that there was that commitment from West Greenwich.
Right.
But then
Monetary.
this becomes the actual document. And again, I'm told it was approved, and so that's what we moved on. And I'm sure Lynn said she was gonna do it. Apparently she didn't, so that's okay.
She was gonna do what?
Post it or put it out to bid.
This is the first time we've seen this, isn't it?
No,
Haven't gone
out.
Pat,
Huh?
we voted on it last month, and we
But did you
voted,
have this document last month?
we did.
Yeah, we had a different, this is a different, it was, this is not this physical one. Another one
Right.
just like it, it's in my pile somewhere.
Right,
It's,
but
okay.
there's no dates,
Because there's no dates in here.
there's no dates
There's
of
no-
anything.
Well, I
There's
asked
no
about
dates.
that, you mean the ones with the
Oh, no, I
X's?
see what you're saying.
The ones with the X's?
So now this is on the
Yeah,
agenda for you to
and-
approve to go bid.
And, okay, Dory told me that she'd spoken to Lynn. I said, don't you think it should be,
Still has
don't you think it should come in like the middle of March, so we could approve it in April? And Dory said, no, I really think they should come in by the end of February. She said, I'll talk to Lynn, and
She
they've
did,
had
and
a
from what I
conversation.
understand, this is the document, and
Okay,
you guys are gonna approve this tonight and put any dates of when you're gonna,
Oh, and
when you
add to it.
advertise it and so
Okay.
on. That's why it's all X's and yellow, and Dory asked Lynn, and this is my knowledge now,
Okay.
what I understand, is Dory asked Lynn about these X's and filling it in, Lynn said, I'll take care of that after the council meeting.
Okay.
Yes, they approved to go to do this once that was signed, that was correct. But that, this is the actual document
that's
now, it's
fine.
gonna go to bid.
Whatever you wish to do. whatever the council wishes to
Do
do.
we want to put dates in?
What?
Also, that was the other.
Well, again, I thought it should be, it seems to me like it's an awful lot of work here to have to call it in within a few weeks. So that's why I said to Dory, why don't we put a date of the middle of April, I'm sorry, the middle of March, and we can approve it in April.
If that's what you feel that we should
Well,
do.
that's what I suggested, and Dory said to me, no, she would rather have it done sooner because she thinks there are people ready to move on
Who's
this.
she? Lynn?
Dory.
Dory said she, okay.
She would like the dates to be in March. So I think the council will decide, you wanna move it, what?
Do you want to put?
I said March, and I'm sorry, talking about the end of February, like, put it out for bid, have the bids come in so that on the March meeting, we can approve it.
Then
So it's
we
the fifth
can-
now.
Dory wants it done
Right,
so that we
So we
can
can put the dates at the
prove
end of
it
February.
in March.
You still can do that.
Yeah,
We-
we can
It's the
still do
fifth,
that.
it's the
Today's
5th of
the
February
You
now.
still can do that, you can have.
I understand, I have said, what, 6 times now, that I thought people might need longer because it was, I thought, a fairly comprehensive project.
I would feel more comfortable giving them a bid date due like March 10th, March 15th,
Well,
and then do it in April.
that's what I suggested.
Cause I'm one of these guys that gets these bids and I'll get one on a Monday and they'll sit there, oh, you're gonna have it Thursday afternoon.
Give you the answer.
Can't get it done.
Yeah.
See what the answer is.
Oh, I get it done, but I sit there and rip someone's head off. It just, and
And you two have the most experience with this thing.
Well, not like something like this.
No,
This
but
is
just
a-
going out for
doing
bid
bids, yeah.
and gathering, like letting people answer, and you know, it takes time.
Take
and-
time to do it, research it.
And you see, and then, let me just tell you, that Dory's perspective is that there's a deadline when stuff has to be completed. So, not the bid accepting, but completing the document within, I think it's 18 months, I've got it in my notes somewhere. 18, just let me say this, please. REMA, we approved the application for this joint process on November 28th. And it has to be completed within 18 months. So Dory's anxious to give people the most time. I thought people needed more time to prepare their bid.
Yeah.
You see where I'm
Yes.
coming
More
from?
time
I
to
agree
prepare.
with that.
Well,
Having prepared bids.
yeah, and I don't know how many of these hazard mitigation plans, people, maybe they've been done for many other communities by somebody, and that's what I suspect is the case. We may be the last of many, of the ones to do it. Anyway, you choose a date.
6 weeks from tonight is the 18th of March.
Want to do it in the middle of the week or that Friday or something? 22nd of March? Well,
No,
18
you wanna do
and
the
4.
18th that way, cause you gotta advertise on the agenda, make sure you have plenty of time for the agenda.
Well, no, I said, yeah, I'm saying instead of the
Their
18th,
bid,
4
their
days
due
later.
date. So,
I'm saying 4 days later than the 18th.
yeah.
That's just what I said.
Is that Friday?
18th is fine,
21st.
Mondays are fine.
When is Friday? What's the 21st?
And when is the April meeting, what day is that? Like, because like Dan is saying, everything has to be in,
To advertise.
Have to be reviewed.
yeah.
Well, advertise is one thing, review to make a recommendation to us might take a few days. So maybe we want it more like the 18th or the Friday before that,
Friday before that.
which would be the, what, 15th of middle of March? That's right, isn't it? Friday the
April
15th?
1st is the next meeting.
Or April
I mean,
1st?
April meeting, April 1st.
Well, then I guess we better do Friday the 15th. What do you think?
Yeah, that's
How much sooner?
Friday the 15th.
Okay,
For the bids to be in?
That gives you a week and a half to review it. It has to be posted, so.
You know, and again, it's supposed to be collectively Dory and Lawrence that will be, you know, reviewing and making a recommendation to us. What other day do we need to have beside the 15th?
Bids due, I have it. Opening we have, right? It'll be the Friday, is that when we'll be? Award the bid on the 1st of April,
Right,
that's all the X's I see.
that's it.
There's a time frame in the state law and you can't rush it. It's a minimum of 20 days.
It's 40 days?
20.
Oh, 20. Like
I was
business
trying to look it
days? Or, you know, like when we post an agenda, business days that count, not the weekends.
It's easy to find.
And the last page, you gotta put the website address.
Okay, so wait a minute, we haven't answered the question about when the specs will be available. And I guess these are the specs, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah, for these
RFP.
is the specs.
So we have
Yeah.
the specs,
Yep.
so when are they gonna be available? And do you wanna just make, I think those editorial issues that you raise are not, they're not an issue. We can just change it, I don't think we
Right.
have to go back to Brook Lawrence and say, we made a couple of changes.
No, I don't think
We
those
don't.
things are.
We don't. So when will these be available, Pat?
You tell me tomorrow, next day?
tomorrow.
But you want these corrections here, some, like, what you suggested.
I just think
right?
Wednesday or Thursday,
Okay.
give you some time to get it done.
That's fine.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Wednesday?
Wednesday,
because it's just some typos to fix it.
Do you,
Did you write them
Pat,
down, do you have them recorded?
Oh, she's got it written down, she's good. Yeah.
you have,
Don't give me too much.
You can listen to the recording.
Pat, you can access this
Yes,
document,
yes,
so you
yes.
can go in and make the changes that Diane put. Let's just checking to make sure before we leave, so that's good.
You're gonna do a motion for the,
Who wants to do the motion? Wanna try, Mike?
We need-
Well, why don't I move that we put this RFP out for bid, and that's the RFP on the multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan that's been presented by Dory to us with the approval of
As
West
amended.
Greenwich. As, you know, say as amended.
Our agenda item is a request to enter into a memorandum of understanding between West
That's-
Greenwich, and
that's a-
he's putting out an RFP,
That's
is that,
okay.
that's fine?
I think so, because it's a necessary
Okay.
prerequisite to
Yep.
it.
Okay.
The memorandum is that short two-page,
Yeah.
thing that we got that says it's not binding. And I know the reason that,
what, you need to approve the agreement?
They just put that in the
You
motion.
need to approve the agreement?
They just put in the motion to put out the RFP as amended.
He was asking if she could speak.
That's what it is.
Yes.
It- It's to agree on the amendment. Go ahead, whatever.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Lynn.
So you made the motion last month to go out to bid. This month you need, upon the agreement from West Greenwich. So you have on the motion, on the agenda, the memorandum to approve. Once you approve that, I have the RFP in Word and I can fill in all the blanks. And when I post to the RFP, the specs will be attached to that. So tonight, you're approving the, agreement. So we can send it back to, West Greenwich.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So now we got it.
Withdraw that motion.
Withdraw that motion.
Withdraw the second.
Second.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Okay.
Okay, so now we're gonna make a motion to enter into a memorandum of understanding between West Greenwich Management Agency and Exeter Management Agency for the development of multi-jurisdictional hazardous mitigation plan with the corrections.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, Cal, next one,
Because he
review.
he had a motion, there was no second, so I guess it just dies. Doesn't need to withdraw his motion, right?
I thought he did.
He did.
He did, okay, great.
Okay. Cal, review report from REMA, Exeter wildfire,
Oh,
AKA
well,
Queens
that,
River
that
Preserve Fire.
again, is just for the record, to indicate
Okay.
that we received that. And as I went through it, it's very extensive and comprehensive. Sadly, it talks about, I don't mean sadly, it points out so many ways that modifications need to be made in different ways. And then I looked, the only one that really falls to there's only one that really said the responsibility was of the emergency management director. The others were all more in-house, modifications, if you will, mitigations. Anyway, the point is, just for the record, you see, we got this, and it's now on the record that we received that from REMA, right, from REMA.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 10, unfinished business. Use of American Rescue Plan Act funds, possible acquisition of 742 10 Round Road.
Oh, the,
Update.
so for the community center grant?
No, for the executive session.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
that's
All right,
town hall.
we'll move that,
executive
so.
session.
The next one is the one, Maria, status, July 2022, communication number 16, Governor McKee, Rhode Island Capital Projects Fund, multi-purpose community facilities matching grant.
So what you received was basically a contract that once, you received a contract with a lot of blanks on it, so the money was blank, even some of the dates were to be filled in. And that's because all of the awards have, all the agreements and stuff were not looked at to make sure that they were all viable projects. But we have received notification that it looks like we passed the third stage of the criteria that they were looking at, so it looks like we will be funded. And then what the state wanted was for us to have the agreement ahead of time, because I think they're gonna want a pretty quick turnaround once everything gets filled in. So, you know, we started this project, we received word that there was a grant available. We applied, this is about a year or more in the works of like talking back and forth and sending documents back and forth. And never knowing if they were ever gonna say, no, this is not viable, this is not what we were looking for. But it looks like we passed a lot of the hurdles that we needed to pass in order to continue with the grant. Now, it's on all of you to understand the specifications of the grant, which is on-site.
A lot of odd
A
side
lot
stuff,
of
right?
reviews, a lot of, they're just not giving us the money. And it's a 5-year look-back period, and.
We have to use it, right? We
We have
have
to
to
use
use it. Right.
Right, whatever we designate or whatever we use the money for, whichever we're doing, acquisition, construction, whatever it is, has to be used for 5 years as a community center in order to augment education, work, and health. So, I mean, it's a lot of money, but it's a lot of work.
Was it like 522,000, something like that?
522 was the last figure, but the reason they didn't fill it in was because they have to see who makes the cuts. It's like the last man standing, right? If 10 municipalities drop out, then the rest get funded more to make up for that. So I think it'll be close to 600,000 at least this time, and it could grow. because at any point in those 5 years, they could pull, if we don't meet the criteria, they'll pull the entire thing. It could be year 4.5, and we stop meeting pretty stringent criteria, and they'll pull the entire 600,000. So that's something that, you know, we need to be aware of. It's very much spelled out, it's, they never made a secret of it, that there are strings attached to this money. Reporting, financial, time-wise.
A lot of reporting.
It is.
I would like, when you're done, I don't wanna interrupt you.
And every 3 months, there's gonna be some sort of monitoring on
Every
site.
3 months?
Mhm. On site, I think they're gonna alternate between on site and like a desk, you know, like just like a meeting, review. A lot of documentation.
Ever since this, may I just speak to this just for a minute? Ever since this concept surfaced and we began to look at it, and Maria pointed out how comprehensive and demanding it is, it does need planning. And I thought of this, just at least to get it started, and obviously with elections coming, who knows who's gonna be around. But ultimately, because it falls on the council to make sure it gets done, but with Maria's great guidance and assistance, I would like to chair a group of people in town for ideas to lay out schedules for activities once the site, I mean, we don't have it yet, but once it's ready to be used, you know, wellness clinics, volunteers to come in and do stuff, tax, somebody that can come speak to seniors. And here's what I thought, you put it out, you advertise it, if 3 people attend, that's not our fault. We've documented that we've put it out for the town, here it is available for you. And Maria obviously is the one that's gonna be the right hand, but I would be happy to bring people together, like, this during the day, when the daytime people are here, and people are available. And if we decide we need to do it at night, then we'll do it at night. But if only one of us, it doesn't have to be me, but only one of us is involved, then it's not a council meeting, you know, then it's not several people, then it's an issue. And maybe Maria, if Maria wants to head it up, that's fine. But if you want
No, I could definitely, well, we need help. One person or one department can't
You can't.
No,
possibly.
and you shouldn't feel responsible, and we've agreed to go, we sent her on this mission, she's brought us the money, and I think we need to say, okay, let's
I think Jessica
get together.
needs to be involved.
Oh,
yeah,
Jessica, well,
Jessica
definitely will be
definitely.
involved, Jessica
I
and
think
all the
she has
people.
Story, I've asked.
People at the library may have ideas for things that they can't really pull off at the library, but they might be able to do it here, or over there. But get as many people involved in a meeting setting, brainstorm, you know, let's start thinking about what
I
we
think
can
the
do.
beginning of this process might be a little bit daunting, but I think once
Yeah.
we get going and people do jump on board, it will basically, I don't wanna say it will take care of itself, but it will gain momentum and it will, like, the 5 years will pass. But it's just getting it going is the,
Because seniors have nothing here.
Yeah.
So. this,
Well, that's
I
been
think,
a
would
hue
be
and
a
cry,
lot of
you know,
things
a hue and cry, what are we gonna do?
for them.
yeah, if you look at any of the other, community centers or senior service things, like, there are so many different programs that could be run, that
Implemented.
we can invite, you know, the Blue Cross people come and they talk about the different plans that the seniors could use or anybody can use, like, there are so many different things like that. It's just about getting them there.
Maybe you can share.
I already told Maria I will.
Yeah, well, no, I think we all could, and
But,
more than,
yeah.
like, 2 people can be here anytime, but once we got 3 people,
That's the end.
could be a meeting,
Yeah.
but you could all come and, or, have a
I
nighttime
can't talk to
thing.
one.
No.
But, to collectively, what please? Collectively, we should be able to move things, or
Yeah.
at least try.
Well, I mean, like I said, we don't even know the amount, we have an idea what it'll be. Once we get the amount, once we get the go-ahead, we can always say no.
Do you have any idea when that?
Yeah, what are the frame,
Well,
what's the
they
framework?
said, they said several days we might get the final contract.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of a deadline, but I know that they want to start funding pretty quickly. So I think they're looking for a quick turnaround once we get the final contract. So we might have to have a special meeting or something if
If
they
you've got
can't
on
wait.
here request for approval, so you
Well-
don't need that tonight until you
Well,
have the
there were-
contract.
there's
in
really
hand.
not, the
Nothing to
approval
approve. No,
was,
okay.
didn't have all the answers, it had
Okay.
more blanks than
Better
anything.
safe than sorry, put it
Right,
on
so-
there, yeah, okay,
But in case, right, in case we did get it
Yeah.
and, so.
all right.
But I have one more question, please. I don't mean to prolong it, but Maria, when you moved ahead on this, isn't the understanding that this is for a new location that we're preparing? Or do they expect that once we get money, we gotta get going, because we don't have
No, no,
the
no.
new space?
No, so the programs have to be up and running by December of 2026.
Oh,
So
up and running,
because
by
some people are
Oh.
actually constructing like an addition or something.
Okay, good, that's,
And,
you answered my question.
but the sooner we get it going, the sooner that 5 years starts ticking
Got it.
up.
But none of that money can be used to prepare the spaces for these programs, correct, or can
Oh,
they?
of course,
Yeah.
Oh, they can be, oh, so
Yeah,
they can be
yes.
put into, very good. There you go, okay.
And do you know how many programs we have to run a week, a month, or
Yeah,
like that
uh-huh.
kind of information hasn't been shared yet,
So they
correct?
don't have any, there are no answers because every town is, what they want is a grassroots of what do the residents
Okay,
think that they need, what are they asking for? And so, we had ideas
Yeah.
of sending out surveys, kind of similar to the comp plan,
Mhm.
putting out surveys here or whatever. Social media's gonna play a big role, as far as like, trying to find out what people are asking for, what people would like to see. And then if you try that and then it doesn't work, or, the attendance is high, but then it wanes over, 6 months or whatever, then you ask, well, what did you like about it, what can we do that's different?
okay, so there's no set you have to do.
Not according to
3
them.
programs a week for 5 years.
Right.
It could be 1 program a week or 1.
I think that we have to try to do as many as we can,
Mhm.
and try to put our best foot forward, and then just get feedback and adjust,
Yeah, okay,
is what I'm hearing.
okay.
And I can confirm that before we sign anything to, that hasn't changed, because the guidelines do and may change too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, this is a fairly new approach to getting rid of some, not getting rid of, distributing some federal funds, correct?
Right.
So they may be also feeling their way through and not quite sure, but they've gotta come up with guidelines, otherwise
The
they
one
just can't
thing
get
that
the
this
money
does not
away.
cover is programming, like, so you can't use this money to hire somebody to, run a program. That would have to come, either ask for volunteers to do it, if organizations come and do it for free, or that money would have to come elsewhere.
Okay. Keep it on the agenda. Okay. Item C, status, update the town of Exeter Code of Ordinances, chapter 14, building regulations, article 9, impact fees.
There was a really good discussion between Bill and Carrie, like Maria, about how to add the other sections in when there's a multi-use and a percentage. They're talking about a percentage of use of the building
Yeah.
with the price and all that, so I haven't heard anything in writing.
Okay. I haven't had a chance to call them today.
Other than phone call.
I think it was last week, we were talking about square footage. Yeah. Okay. Leave that there.
Yeah, we'll just wait for the bill, and Maria was there to, about the impact fees, so it's gotta be kind of presented and put forward to the council, suggestions.
Okay, all right. Item D, Director of Public Works, request for guidance, incident at 5 West Shore Drive. You ready, Jim? Did you get this?
I did, but, I think that we need to have a discussion as to what
Yep. Go.
type of action you'd like to take, if any.
Now, they set the bounds today, Rob.
They did
What do you say, granite or iron rods?
iron rods, and then across where the property is, the said property, put wooden stakes, but there's a clear line.
Yeah.
Where's the wall? Is it on?
It's up to them.
The wall's on our land.
It's definitely on town land.
Absolutely. And then some, and then some.
It's on the street.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
maybe a letter to them now, I don't know.
Yeah, so where are we? So,
I could compose a letter advising that it needs to be removed.
I
If not, that the town will remove it.
I don't know how freely we can talk here, but if you want, I think the town should remove it, being on town property. I wouldn't wanna take any chances of somebody getting hurt removing that. So I wanna take the responsibility of doing that. And
Just get it out
then
of the
possibly
way.
back charge somebody for the time and equipment and disposal of the material.
The letter could say that.
Okay?
The town is going to do it on such and such a day. You tell me.
And you tell me.
Okay, we'll talk,
Yes.
if that's okay with the council.
Yes.
Get it done.
so just tell me this, when you say bounds have been set, that something's been marked,
Mhm.
and it's been marked on the other side of the wall where
Clearly.
the.
By
And
feet, not inches.
Al, if you look at the, did you get the copy of
I
this?
see it here.
Okay, because
Yeah.
it says it right, you'll see it says rebar with caps set in the,
Oh, I see.
you see that? So
Now I
that's
can-
set, and then
yeah.
there are other bounds that were found. And you could read the legend, it says iron pipe found, mag nail found. Those things are actual bounds that are there. So the
Well, when you
one that
say
was set,
found, okay, just let me understand, found means there was stuff there?
There
or
was.
it's been-
There was
Okay.
stuff there, new stuff's been placed accurately, so
Okay.
we know where it is.
Cal,
So-
found means that the surveyor found it.
Right, well, that's what.
Set means the surveyor set it.
That's what I assumed, but I'm just clarifying.
No, I'm.
Because what I'm saying is if that was already there, then it suggests to me that the man knew that he was building a wall on the other side of what he owned. That's what's suggesting to me. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah,
Is that
correct.
not
But
what I should
sometimes-
assume?
It's correct, I don't even know whether.
I'm not asking you, I'm just trying to get a visual of somebody, maybe he didn't know, whoever he is. I'm just curious about why you would see and then you would just ignore and now.
And also, it's the
That's
street,
right.
so we might wanna check on it first before you put a wall, right? In the street.
Yeah, well, okay, no, I'm good, I'm glad it's moving, now we have to figure out how it goes.
So, okay, so you two will get together, write the letter, set a time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Has the homeowner that built the wall in the street, has he had anything to say about the
That's what I
survey?
was gonna ask
He's in
next.
Florida until
Okay.
Well,
Wednesday. They won't be
Once
back.
the letter gets delivered to them, then we'll see what he has to say, but really, it's town property, what do you have to
Yeah,
say?
but I was just wondering if the neighbors have heard any grumbling
He
or,
knows it's town property.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's been a discrepancy about
Oh, yeah.
another neighbor putting up a fence.
Hang on,
and- Yeah, there's been a whole bunch
Well-
of stuff, yep. Police have been called.
I didn't want him
reports have
to
been
just go
filed.
ripping out the survey stakes. That's
Okay.
all.
Yeah,
So we'll leave that on there for next month, we'll see what happens.
I have
Because
photos this
the
later.
way the weather is, you're not gonna get in there in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
No.
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
well,
go.
I mean,
Okay. Okay.
Motion to send a letter.
motion to direct the public works director and the town solicitor to get together and write a letter and set the
Yeah, okay.
stipulations for what should
Sure.
be happening.
A letter or whatever action seems appropriate.
Second,
I
all in
would.
favor? Aye. Okay, item E, Exeter Town Clerk's Office Building, 675 10 Rod Road, roof and basement issues. We're still working on the roof.
Well, I guess, well, it's winter, so
Yeah.
we can,
And that,
we'll probably go out to bid.
Yeah.
I guess it starts to get a little warmer.
and Lynn has got prices on some stuff for the basement, so we're just still working on that. Okay.
But I know she wrote up what I consider rather impassioned message that said maybe we wanna let it go. I don't think we should let it go, the building should be sealed up,
Definitely.
Yeah.
so.
I
Are
don't
we
see-
directing, just waiting for the next, keep it on for another month, is that what you're
I think
suggesting?
Bob's gonna do some grading out here too,
Yeah.
right?
I'm sorry?
You gonna do some grading out here too?
Yeah, I think that will help a lot. I gave me back already, another dose of that, and we can get at it, certainly help.
I think, that I think is important to record that some work's already being done, right? Well, I mean, I read that you were going
When we
to.
did the septic, we ended up sloping that right, because it was really bad in this corner.
You mean it was sloping toward the,
It
and you
was.
sloped it away?
Puddling here.
Well, good, that's great,
We'll just do some more of that around the building.
good.
So,
Can the record just note, Pat, that this work, maybe you already said it, can the record note that there's work already being done
To mitigate.
to mitigate the issue?
back and light something up. Yeah, that's the only part. So we'll have to walk it through. We could have it.
You just leaving that on as it is?
Yeah, she's only gotten that one price, correct? Yeah, so that one's, you're gonna have to go out to bid.
Is that for the
This wasn't even
big?
advertised, was it?
Well, it's
She just
under
getting
$5,000.
some, getting some
Yeah,
pricing.
she just went to get
Yeah,
pricing,
yeah.
yeah.
And then found out it was over $5,000, so we have to go to bid.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Are you leaving it as is though?
we'll leave that as is, right?
But you-
We're gonna
you
You don't
have
have to
to-
go out to bid or anything right now? You just leave that as is?
Yeah.
No bid right now, okay.
Well, why is
May I ask
that?
why?
Why
I
is
don't know.
Do you
that?
want to wait for Lynn to come back and write it, or we can?
Well, but we
We
can
still do it.
authorize
We can do
when
it
it's
now.
prepared
Okay, we can make a motion to
to
authorize.
authorize the preparation of a bid,
To go out to bid, yeah.
respect RF, whatever. it's
Those are
called.
pictures, and these are just pictures of.
That way the work can get started.
We've been talking about this forever.
Yeah, okay, that was a motion, I'll second it,
In
Cal.
there too, should we put the roof, a bid for the roof, I mean, an RFP for the roof too?
It'll be March, April.
It's the roof and basement issue.
We have to fight for that. Prepare the RFP.
Gonna do both?
Both.
Yeah,
Years?
Yeah.
Got enough on your plate this month.
This one, yeah, I don't think it's gonna have to done in the basement.
is that your motion, or your motion?
Yeah, my motion for downstairs,
And,
whatever you said.
Well,
Add it, Cal.
not saying except that the roof, a separate
Separate,
bids for the roofing as
He'll
well.
have- He's been doing some legwork on the roof.
Yeah. I said 5,000 for the little piece.
Okay. So your motion includes,
Prepare an RSP for the roof also,
okay,
in the basement.
second,
We don't need to, I don't think.
All in favor?
aye.
Excellent.
Pat, you'll have that out tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Just kidding, just
I
kidding.
gave you tonight.
We want a roof.
Okay, F, proposed modifications to planning department.
That was
That's gonna stay
me,
there till budget time.
yeah,
Yeah.
because budget time, but since Maria's here, we had Dixie help,
That's Becky.
yeah, she can come 2 days a week, right? Was there budget money for 2 days?
The budget money was only for one day a
Okay.
week. I can look to see if there's, but there isn't any wiggle room. I think she's come pretty consistently, one day a week. She hasn't skipped.
Can we possibly consider using, I don't know if that line item, or do we take it out for a deputy clerk, not a clerk, but in here,
That would be under budget right now because it hasn't been filled since.
I know it hasn't been filled, but did we leave the line
Oh,
item
the line item's
there?
there.
So, in light of the fact that the clerk's hours might be more needed more in planning and zoning, I wish we could consider using some money in that line item to help. I mean, given the fact that there's a need for.
Is that a
some-
motion?
Yeah, well, do you follow what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
because I'll second
Okay.
that motion.
Well, only
Well, this
because,
year, they're going to be needing help, the Board of Canvassers.
that's not, no, I'm not talking about the board, I'm talking about tax collector.
Tax.
Oh,
No, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the tax collector's
Oh, the
clerk.
tax collector.
Did we take that item out? I thought we left
That's
that.
still there too.
That got taken out, stupid, no?
No, it's
No,
under
because we were gonna
collective
fill it.
bargaining.
That's collective bargaining.
It's collective bargaining, it's not for the other.
So there's a
But
little
there
bit
is
of
some-
money
Right.
that we could,
There's also some money in the clerical,
I would leave that up
canvassers.
to you where to take it out from.
Yeah, that's fine, I know it's dedicated by line, and I'm sure that's your concern. But it seems to me it's a shame if we see there's a need.
Because that was floating
Elsewhere.
clerk money, right?
The
Part of
intention,
it?
right,
the,
part of it.
Yeah.
The
intention
intention
was-
was,
Because it's an election year too, so they've got a few elections, so they're gonna need money and help.
they will need money, and Mary B. or whoever's doing that extra work is going to put in for hours, and that'll be taken from that clerical number. But
they'll be, excuse me, they will be asking obviously for more money in the new fiscal year, which begins July 1st, because then that's gonna cover
Right,
the election that's
Yes,
coming up. That's when
correct.
we'll see that figure bump up, as it always does, because it's an election year and they need more
Don't forget
money.
the presidential one.
But there's a presidential
Well,
one,
that's-
so that's in April, so.
That's in the spring.
Oh, primary before that.
Yeah.
Well, I think we should do that, to try to get some help. I know Dixie said, I can't file, there's so much filing that I need to do up there. And,
So what's our plan of attack?
Our first plan of attack would be to get Becky to come in 2
A
days a
second
week.
day to assist.
Because she already comes in one day, and then the other more,
That's more
Aggressive.
substantial would be for budget.
yes.
That's
But
budget.
I think the issue now is, well, I'll make the motion for discussion that we provide funding for a second day for the assistant to Dixie upstairs,
Second.
whatever, for discussion. Is there some,
I would rather that you authorize that budget line item to go over rather than taking it from another. I mean,
Okay,
at
'cause
the end
we
of the
can-
day, it all washes out.
right,
think
because you
it's
don't
cleaner.
spend it, we do over here,
And
and we do
under
under
here.
there. And I see your point, because we are authorized, way to exceed if necessary,
By a
Isn't there a-
council vote.
by council vote. Isn't that a resolution that we adopt? No?
Well,
So he just has to change his motion to.
Right, no, I'm just asking, don't we do something like that?
there are, if a line item is going to go over budget and we know it,
Right.
and you're allowing it to, for a
Then we
reason.
recognize that we're exceeding a budgeted amount. That's what you mean,
Right,
and that's
then I-
fine with me.
Then I think that that's a cleaner way to do it,
That's
because then I'll have the minutes.
good.
And-
I'll withdraw my
Authorization.
motion.
I withdraw my second.
I'll move that we fund the position out of the line item, even though it will represent an increase. No, over budget, the line item will be exceeded, but we do have the authority to do that under discussion. I will speak to that.
For a second day
Okay?
for the assistant.
All right, thank you. Under discussion, I would say that it includes discussion with our treasurer, and she recommends that this be, if we wish to go that route, this be the correct process, because we do have that authority to vote that way as a council. Have I stated that correctly?
Yes, I do.
Second.
Thank you. Second agrees with my, likes my,
Thank you.
yes.
I'm wondering, you're going from a 1 day a week worker to 2, now you're approaching part-time.
She will not, though I talked to Dixie extensively about this, and she will do 2 days and that's it.
I'm
Like,
just thinking of the collective bargaining unit.
That's,
How many hours?
that's not in.
It's not in collective bargaining. They're just giving someone that's in the collective bargaining some assistance. But,
This is a clerk that is supporting town hall activities.
right.
Doesn't have anything to do with the collective bargaining.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
First time
Okay,
I've heard you
I was in
demand
there.
something in a long time, since I've been sitting here.
Yeah. Okay, proposed charter amendments, November 2024 election.
We have 3.
What's that?
We have 3 already.
Oh, okay.
Does anybody have any ideas? Just let me know. And
Well, I think the 3, and we should just say, quickly highlight 3. They're about spending, they're about bid, no, they're
Yeah.
about
cleaning up the.
cleaning up the language regarding seeking of bids to match
Yeah.
the state guidelines. So the charter does not remain specific, but makes it more flexible. It's what we call in the Constitution an elastic clause, so to speak, that allows it to be flexible. The other
We
is
don't have to change it every time. the state
exactly.
changes
It's in the
this.
league's agenda too.
What, oh, is it? Good, good, see, I'm gonna read that more carefully. And the other one is about the Conservation Commission. It was suggested by a resident slash taxpayer that the number be reduced from requiring 7 to make it viable to only requiring 5. That's another amendment. And the third amendment is
The use
about
of the money that comes in outside of the budget.
managing for Maria, grant money, et cetera. Correct? Wasn't that the genesis of the amendment? Because there's nothing, the financial town
Well, we
meeting
can't
about.
predict, we can't
Right.
predict what grants are gonna be available, what money's gonna come in.
As in the case of what we just discussed here tonight. But we didn't go to the public at a financial town meeting to ask if it was all right, if Maria applied, we told her to. Now she gets it, what do we do now? Am I right? I mean, not what do we do, Maria knows what to do.
So it's not as restrictive, I guess.
Right.
It's a little bit of.
So that's just an informational
Thanks for
piece.
recapping that.
Well, we just need to keep, remembering, and when it gets closer, we should put out, a flyer thing, like Dory did. I meant to do that, showing how. Okay,
Okay, next up is communications, Canal 14 and 16 can go
No
together.
more questions, no real questions on the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a resolution, and I would suggest something to get my communication filed. That's the Roosevelt Hopkinton and, what's it, yeah, who was it, Richard, who generated it?
Town of Richmond and the town of
That's what yeah. And they already have provided a resolution, and it has to do with the funding, the transportation funding. And they're asking, they've sent it to us hoping that we might support it as well. So I will move that we adopt a Exeterized version of the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Thursday nights. Thursday night.
You had number 22.
22, 23, 24. Yeah, 22, 23, 24.
Oh, all right, okay. Well, I'd like to address, I'm not sure if the folks in here are for the, okay, that's right, you spoke about it. I'd like to address this now, later, now.
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I meant to pull my file on the Boone Management District, but I know one of the assertions here is that they need to have a, what do we call it, not master plan, bylaws, and you don't think there are any?
They do not have any bylaws.
They do not, I read it online today.
You read,
They do not have bylaws.
oh, so what did you read?
Their report
Oh, and it says,
says they're working on the bylaws. They have not had any since its inception of 2018.
well,
But they are an actual district by
But
state
they-
law.
But they're not a tax
And-
district.
Well, actually, I think they are.
No,
No, they're not.
they're not.
And
The only two tax
Questionable.
districts in Exeter is
Because
Exeter
of the
itself
bylaws, you think?
and the fire.
Because of what the ordinance is for the town. But it doesn't just specifically, Jim can probably.
can I,
It says management district, but they have an
State
assessor
law
and a collector.
requires the town to adopt an ordinance that creates it. After that, state law governs what happens. State law says that they have taxing and
don't they
enforcement
have
powers.
taxing authority?
Yes.
Right.
Not according to the Attorney General's office.
Well, then I'll have to take a look at that.
Okay.
That's the way I
yeah,
understand it.
Well, I was just gonna ask, if you don't mind, and these folks have sat through the meeting, would you mind if I asked them to speak to the issue?
Oh,
No, so why don't you, I mean, I read it, but the
Absolutely.
thumbnail sketches, you don't think they have the authority to tax, or you're not happy with the way they're,
Well, no, it's not,
Stand up.
from,
go ahead.
from what I've found out, this whole initial thing started when they put a lien on my house. And when they put that lien on my house, I had given them sufficient funds to cover that. And as far as the ordinance goes, they are supposed to act with the same power and authority and abide by the same laws that a tax assessor would. So in that case, a tax collector, I'm sorry, not assessor, would be required to settle oldest debts first.
Okay.
So having had my money at the time, which was within the same year that the taxes or fees, what have you, were due, that oldest debt should have been settled first, and a lien should have never been placed on my property, because at that point, the next amount of money that I would have owed them would have been for 2023, which was not due yet. So that was the initial thing that kind of started this whole process. So at that point, I spoke to the tax collector here, and I asked her to verify that for me, and she said yes. And I asked her if they are a legitimate tax district, like the fire tax district is, and she told me that no, they are not. Now, I have been in contact with the lawyer that has put the lien on my property. According to him, they are also not a tax district, they are more like an HOA or a corporation, in that they collect fees that are assessed on the properties, but they are not considered taxes. So what it seems to us is that they're a tax collector when it's convenient for them, but they're a management district that is not allowed to collect taxes when it's not convenient for them. My question is whether or not they are legally authorized to collect taxes, because I've been told that they are not, or whether they are more like an HOA, which I am also told they are not. And either way, the simple fact is, according to the ordinance that is in this office, and also the ordinance from the state that allowed them to establish this district in the first place, they are required to act as a tax collector, regardless of whether they collect fees or taxes. So they had no legal standing to put a lien on my property when they had my money. So that's where the issue kind of comes into play.
198.
We,
I've never heard, to be quite honest, of a tax collector or anyone else not putting it on the oldest.
well,
Yes.
that seems to be a
Yeah.
major issue that you, it seems you're absolutely correct.
That's the initial
In
thing that
that.
started all this.
Right,
Now,
and-
looking into all these ordinances and
Right.
all this stuff that's going on, I know they're required to have bylaws, I know they don't. I just don't know where they stand as far as collection. I have no problems paying the fees, I have no issue with that whatsoever. The issue I have is them hiring a lawyer. I'm not the only person in my neighborhood that has a lien on my property right now. And the way they're going about doing what they're doing, if they are authorized by you guys to act as whatever it is they're authorized to act as, if they do something wrong, where do I go
To have it corrected.
to have it resolved?
Right.
Who is in charge of saying to them, no, you can't do that? That's the issue we've run into now, because like my husband said, we've spoken to the Attorney General's office, we've spoken to you guys, we've spoken to
Division of
our
Taxation.
state representation, the Rhode Island Division of Taxation, and nobody knows anything about anything as far as how a dam management district is supposed to work, so.
All right, let me, I just want
I
to say.
don't doubt that that's what you're getting from the state.
It's
Yeah.
creating a lot, it's creating a lot more issues than the
Yeah.
initial issue, and
Can you do me a favor, please, because I think it's gonna get referred to me, probably,
yeah,
just by listening to this.
Yeah,
Can you get me copies of whatever it is you got from the state in
Yes.
terms of their response to you?
most of.
Because the ordinance clearly calls
As-
the person a collector slash assessor.
Right,
It says that the collector shall collect all management fees due, they're calling them management fees. And
yes,
for the purposes of collecting, shall have the same powers and authority as are now by law conferred on collectors of taxes for towns.
yes,
Exactly.
So the point is,
pretty obvious.
they have the same powers as a tax collector,
Yeah,
even though it's called something other than a tax.
right,
yeah.
And it was intended that way, so what I'm finding unique is that the state would say that they do not have the powers of a tax collector.
When I spoke with a woman at the Attorney General's
no,
office.
that's not what they said.
What is it
They
that they
said that the Rhode Island Dam, the Boone Lake Dam Management District is not a tax district.
Oh, that's true, it's not a
Yes,
tax district.
That's what, well, they
It's-
claim that
it's-
they are.
If you look at
Well-
their annual report, which is right in front of you
Yeah.
on the third page, it
They're
says.
collectors of fees that
Fees.
have the same enforcement powers to get those fees as tax collectors.
If you look on page 3, the
Absolutely.
last paragraph on the annual report that's right in front of Patricia, it clearly states that they have the rights to collect taxes as a tax assessor. So if they do that,
As a tax
then
district.
they should abide by the ordinances that are set in place to collect as a tax collector. They're reading it, but the lawyer's saying they're not.
Yeah, I'm just wondering where your remedy is, just like you are, quite frankly. So I mean, if I can help with that, I'll try to take a look at that, but if you want me to, because it seems, I mean, obviously.
Well, of course, if they've given the information they're given. I chaired I've been around. I chaired the public hearing, it was, I think, 2 nights. It was held at Metcalf School, lots of folks, you probably
Yes.
weren't, I don't know if you were there, it was in the early 90s, maybe you didn't know. There were quite a few people, there were a handful of people who didn't like it, but most people did, because of the fairness and equity of keeping the dam
Right.
up instead of, because there have been issues, and as you know, the understanding was clearly, as it says here, that there would be taxes. What seems to me, and you've indicated here, the folks running it have run afoul of what really should be the process. And my question is, do they have their own legal counsel, as we do here?
They do.
Do they hire someone, and is that the
Yes.
person
They
that told you?
Yes,
or
they
him?
The last-
recently acquired him, recently.
Ah.
Very
The last members, well, I've had this conversation with the last members, and they didn't want to do anything like this to any of their residents. So they've always decided not to do anything.
Understood.
40
Understood.
people came into it, and they're all gung ho, and they're trying to get back taxes and all that. And that's fine, and we don't have a problem paying the taxes, because they go to beautify our lake, because it's a private lake, it's not entitled, the town's not obligated, the DEM's not obligated, so we don't have any problems with that. We have problems with the way that they're collecting the taxes and not applying them properly,
Yeah.
which has generated a
Understood.
lien on my
Understood.
property. And when we try to explain to them, they sent us a certified letter saying that we have to communicate with the lawyer, and when we communicate with the lawyer, he's not also following by the ordinance, and he's saying that we still have to pay the legal fees. Now, the $300 of the $1,200 has already been paid, but the lien still shows the fees plus the lawyer fees. All that's actually owed is the lawyer fees.
Which we didn't
Which
generate.
we did not hire him,
Right.
and it's not, we're not at fault. We gave him a check in the time period, they applied it to the wrong year, and then we have proof via email that they said we applied it to 2023, and his correspondence to us was, your amount was for the exact amount for 2023, it was $1.72 less than 22, and it wasn't applied. It was applied to 2023, and I've spoken to several.
Could you repeat that? You sent the amount that was exactly due in the newest bill?
What happened was, in November, we got a bill.
It's all in that letter.
It's all in the letter. We got a bill in
I read the letter,
November
but
for 2023. We gave them a check for 2023. In December, when they contacted us, and we were talking about, we got another bill that said we owed for 2022. So we said, apply that to 2022. That's what you would normally
You
do.
told that verbally.
Exactly. She physically wrote on my check the year, date 2023, and applied it to 2023 instead of applying it to 2022 like she should have.
But normally, people apply it to the oldest.
Now, we gave them another check in June, and they held it until October
They apply it.
for the 2023. They never, I have proof of that, they never cashed it in June. They waited until the last day before the year was up that they had to cash it. Yes.
Why would
They're not
they do that if they already,
Thank you, I don't know.
That-
What we're gonna do, Cal, we're gonna refer this to Jim, let him do the research, and is your phone number in that letter?
Yeah, did you put that in
Yeah.
here, your phone?
No.
I can give it to you now.
Because I don't see it.
It's a 401
It might have not.
338 3599.
Okay. It sounds to me like they got a account.
We'd appreciate any help with this. It's a matter of, they wanted 700, now he's gonna accept 355. And we don't wanna have to secure a lawyer to make someone do what they're rightfully supposed to do.
Yeah.
If we were at fault, we have no problems paying it. I don't know.
point.
Not.
Exactly, I refuse to pay the legal fees for, and you gotta understand that this money that's being paid to this lawyer also is our money as well, because we're part of this community. So these people are creating 8 other families on our lake. I don't know if they're, if they're in the same situation as we are, where they didn't apply it in the right years, but regardless, we're not at fault for this debt, and it's, my bill with them is 0. And just the way that they're conducting business is not right, and someone has to oversee them, and that's why we came to you, because their annual report clearly stated that they're a taxing district, collecting taxes, and they're supposed to abide by, and this was the first step. And that's where the Attorney General told us to go, is to come here to request the minutes from when their annual report was approved per your ordinance and so forth.
So everybody knows, this is under a communication. You can't really have substantive discussions about anything under a communication.
Okay.
It can only be what the town council just did. They referred it to another body to take a look at it.
Okay.
So really, so that we don't get in trouble and run afoul of the Open Meetings Act, you have to really hold on, wait until we get communications going, I take a look at it, and I can come back to council. The council then may put it down for another hearing when it's specifically on the agenda for discussion and for further action, okay? Do you understand?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so it's not like anybody's cutting you off.
No,
No, no.
It's just that Open Meetings Act requires, then they can only go as far as they did tonight, okay? And not even really supposed to get into much of a discussion, but I think because you were in under public comment, they just moved that to now so that you could have your comment, but the council really can't engage in a discussion, okay?
Understood.
All right?
No, we
We'll get back
definitely
to you.
appreciate
We
it.
appreciate your help.
I will make a motion to send this issue to the town solicitor for review and.
Second?
Yeah, I would like it on the March agenda, please.
Okay, we'll do it here. All in favor?
That's understood.
Okay. You had number 24 also, Calvin.
The school thing, questions that he asked, the school committee.
Yeah, if this is the, 23, we've already, number 23 here is the League of Cities and Towns resolution, which we've already read.
You had 24 too, didn't you?
Yeah,
This is 24.
I'm sorry, so I just pulled 24 here off my file, and that simply speaks to the fact that we're gonna be at this meeting Thursday night, where the school committee, Paul has sent us some information about the budget, and we're going for this meeting, correct?
Right.
And your 4%, proposed 4% increase just for Exeter.
What, say that again, please?
3.99.
199 increase, we're up against it,
And what is West Virginia?
1 point something, right?
Well, that's,
3? Let's talk about it? Can't talk
well,
about it.
no,
That would be Thursday night at 6
Thursday
o'clock.
night, 6 o'clock, I think that's
Yeah.
6 o'clock. I'd like to thank Paul for sending this to us.
I had pulled 25, that was a petition for a street map change for town ordinance 38-103. In Superior Court Decision 2019-0228. That one, rather lengthy, so I'm gonna have the town clerk direct this over to the town solicitor and let him correspond with Mr. Davis as to the proper procedures to be followed in the process of this petition.
I think what you did the last time on one of these was you directed the town clerk to confer with me, and that she then sent a correspondence to Mr. Davis concerning proper procedure to be followed for further processing. I think that's, and not me.
You have to do a motion for that?
No,
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 okay.
you just directed. That's what
I think that was the last one. Next, we take a 5-minute break and we'll go into executive session. Motion to take 5-minute break. So moved. All in favor?
I gotta get the cheap stuff out.
Go there. And I guess in order to keep employment or some sort of position, you need X, Y, and Z.
Hey, sir.
Not maybe
What are you leaving?
for
But,
Okay. All right, thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Well, that's not,
Aren't
that's
you,
just what we did with the community.
I want
Yeah.
It's different than the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're good. I always put this shit.
Yeah, I did not even,
It is what it is. It's stuff. I missed it, but, oh, yeah. On the way out of the building, I guess. Yeah. Now, why isn't the town clerk next to this?
What comes up?
Exeter Town. It's folks of the Freeman at Exeter. He was so. Stephen Reynolds. His Reynolds is down there, is it not? Yeah. Angela Reynolds.
She's listening.
Jonathan.
Explains what Jason.
George Reynolds. Look, George.
Cut the video if you guys don't want it.
Everybody voted yes. 1788 Constitution.
Yeah, actually.